Welcome everyone to episode 20 of the Brewhouse podcast, a podcast between two brothers where we talk about gaming, tech, entertainment, and everything in between. This week we're going to be covering, as we've been doing the past couple weeks, we'll be going over, giving our thoughts on the Game of Thrones episode. So this week we'll be doing episode 4 of season 8. Last week we did episode 3, obviously. And, this season I feel like it started off really well, Jonathan, and I felt like episode 3 was good. I enjoyed it more than a lot of other people did, and I enjoyed this episode at first, but to me there's some outstanding flaws with this episode that a lot of people noticed, and I don't know, it's just kind of really bugging me. So what did you think of the episode?
Well, get back to what you're saying. I think it started off strong. Episode 1, 2, 3, rewatching it. I rewatched it before, like I've been doing the past few weeks. I'll rewatch the last week's episode before watching the current week's. And as far as everything about the black lighting and all that,
The kind of crappy quality.
yeah, it was not there. So it made the episode a whole lot more enjoyable. I like it more than I did on the first viewing. But as far as this episode goes, I mean, I didn't mind it. There's a lot of things that are
When a lot of small things are wrong, it creates big problems.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna go into a little Starbucks cup thing, I mean,
that's not even what I'm upset. That's not even what I was talking about. No, I don't care that a Starbucks cup was there. Although it does beg the question that
are they paying attention?
How are they paying attention?
But someone pulled an episode from one of the first ones where Jamie's holding a cup in his hands, and there's a screenshot of it. So as far as that's concerned, I'm not too worried about it. The plot and everything, there's things I understand why they did it, like the whole ghost leaving. I mean, I told you they should have just killed him off. They should have just killed him off. I mean, they would have had a 10-second scene of him dying to Viserion by breathing fire on him or something like that. Just 10 seconds. It would have been fine.
We'll get to that. I think there's a reason they did that, and it has to do with my predictions for what's going to happen at the end of the show. Which we'll get into the goods of the episode first. Then we'll do our problems with it, and then we'll kind of, because to me the ending of the show has like completely changed for me, pretty much, of what I think is going to happen. Yeah, because I noticed a small detail in this episode that, I don't know, this is just sticking out to me for some reason. But what I liked about the episode, I liked how the political side of the show was brought back. I loved all the scenes with Tyrion and Varys. They're always good together. Varys kind of going back to his old scheming ways.
Well, he's always been a protector of the throne. He's been for the realm. Sorry, he's been for the realm. So whoever has the best opportunity to
do good for the realm,
do good for the realm, he's going to support them first and foremost.
They had a lot of. That's another good thing about this episode. They had a lot of good character continuation. So not only his character stayed the same. I'm actually really glad what they did with Arya and kind of turning Gendry down and saying, no, I'm not going to be a lady. It's like, if she would have accepted, it kind of would have gone against literally what she said since season 1. So I'm really glad that happened, actually.
I agree. I mean, I knew that she wasn't going to. Obviously, they may have ended up together, but as soon as he became, he got his own castle and everything like that, I was like, no, they're not going to end up together.
Another thing I liked, kind of going back to the politics, Dany just like, in front of everyone, tries to pull a power move, naming Gendry Lord of Storm's End and legitimizing him, which we both thought was going to happen. Yeah, we both had a feeling.
Well, I mean, who was on Storm's End at this point? Nobody.
That's another thing that kind of was a joke, maybe a little nab from the writers and directors, because people have been questioning since Stannis died, who's Lord of Storm's End. They never really covered that. They never covered who was ruling Dorne after the Sand Snakes and whatever Martell got captured.
I think Dorne is a little bit less of a priority just because it's not on Westeros.
Yeah, it's on Westeros.
Well, I'm saying it's not on that continent, or what? It's not. It's across the sea. It's not in the big picture right now.
Dorne is on Westeros.
It's on the southern end of it.
Yeah.
So it's south of King's Landing.
Yes. King's Landing is like in the Middle Eastern side.
Oh, I'm thinking of
You're thinking of Bravos.
Yes, I'm thinking of Bravo. Sorry.
No, yeah.
Yeah, no. But
they bring up
really
Dorne in this episode.
I don't get why. I mean, it seems like it's at this point they're just trying to
wrap
tie up any loose ends. But I mean, why even mention it?
And honestly, that's pretty much the only good thing. I have to say about the episode.
I have a few more things. I think for balance of power, I think that Rhaegal needed to die. It was a shock, but I could see why they did it. Tyrion staying is one thing, and I know the Jaime and Brienne payoff, I think that was fine, but they've spent more time on their relationship throughout the entire series than almost anything else.
Yeah.
But I think that payoff was due. Now, what Jaime ended up doing also plays to who he really is on the inside.
Well, do you think he's going back to be with Cersei, or do you think he's going back to kill her?
No, he's going back to be with her.
Yeah, I don't know. He wouldn't have just changed instantly like that and go back to kill her.
No, he was afraid for himself and for his kid that some other cause is coming, some other force is coming to kill everyone. So once that force is eradicated, he's like, oh, I can just go back to Cersei now.
Yeah, and he probably realizes like what Daenerys' mindset is now, and it's and that was just to kill everyone.
Yeah, and that was also after Bronn came and could have killed either one of him or Tyrion.
Yeah, which I didn't like at all. I don't know.
I don't like that.
It was out of nowhere. Like they had to.
I don't like the jetpacking. I don't like the jetpacking aspect, but I mean, it was just another wrinkle that I can throw in there. I mean, who's over Highgarden? That's another thing we can talk about.
Yeah. So they're gonna give it to Bronn.
Given it to Bronn, but I think that was more to bring up the fact that the Lannisters pretty much cheated their way into royalty.
Yeah, they were cutthroats too and everything.
I think that was more, that interaction was more to bring that topic up than anything, because we haven't heard that in the show.
All right. So getting into the negatives, I had a huge problem with them not showing Sansa and Arya's reaction to finding out who Jon is. It's the biggest secret in the entire show, and two of the main characters you've seen since episode 1, and it's going to have major implications. How do you not show their reaction? I didn't care
so much because I feel Arya is, just as long as you're on our side, I know you're my brother. She has a deeper connection than Jon and Sansa does. So I understand why they didn't show her. And you can see with Sansa's interaction with Tyrion before, as he's walking up, you can see her just thinking about it over her head. So I feel that was good enough payoff. Now, if they would have eliminated that whole scene right there with her telling Tyrion, or if she would have just like walked into him and said like, hey, guess what I found out? I think it would have been different, but how they played that scene off, you can tell it bothered her. I'm not too worried much about Arya because she knows she's going to finish our list, and once that's over, she's pretty much accepted death at that point.
Yeah. Another thing I can tell already we both dislike is how they've treated Ghost this season. So the director of the episode said the CGI was too difficult. Just let that sink in. They've had 3 dragons on the same screen fighting above the clouds, and it's too difficult to do a CGI scene that you've already done it way back in season 4. Jon has petted Ghost like 2 times, and people may be like, oh, this isn't a big deal. No, Ghost has saved Jon's life like 4 times.
The other excuse I've heard is, in the books, they express that the Starks and the direwolves have a telepathic connection and they can almost, feel with what each other's feeling. So they're trying to play that off. And I'm like, okay, that's fine and dandy. But have you ever explained that once in the show? No.
Nope. That's not at all. That's another thing. So going back to episode 3, when people were wondering what Bran is doing, he was looking into the future to see what happens, because he, in the books, it said that he has green sight, so he can see a short time into the future and see outcomes that are going to happen. I'm pretty sure they've never done that or gone over that in the show.
No, absolutely not. No, nobody as far as the show goes, if you have no backstory from reading the novels, they've never explained exactly what Bran's powers entail, other than he can control ravens and sometimes organs of people.
Yeah.
That's it.
But I do not think that's the last time we'll see Ghost, because I think John will go north of the wall with Tormund and Ghost at the end of the show.
At the end of the show,
and then they'll show Ghost again. Then I feel like,
yeah, and Ghost is gonna bite his face off.
Like, you didn't pet me, and I lost an ear for you. And
you've seen the meme of Ghost like aiming the scorpion at Rhaegal.
Okay, that's another major problem I have. They killed off Rhaegal not only to even the odds, but for pure shock factor.
I don't have an issue of why they killed him off. It's more of an issue of how they did it and how the scorpions. Oh, how did you advance this technology so fast and so quickly and replicate it all over your castle and your ships and everything like that?
George R.R. Martin has said in an interview, like, dragons are so powerful, hitting a dragon in flight is like a 1 in a million chance. Like, that's what he compared it to. And they hit 3 shots just perfectly while he was flying. The whole
so
there you go.
I was saying, like, Bronn shooting Drogon last season. I can understand that. Bronn's a seasoned fighter.
Yeah, he's like
maybe
a badass.
Maybe Euron too. So that's 1.
Yeah.
But everybody else, you're gonna say everybody else can just oh no, it's heat-seeking missiles. Yeah,
you're gonna say as the dragon is falling and flying, you pierce one of the smallest parts of its body. Yeah,
firing down.
You're gonna hit
right
its
on the neck.
There's no way. I don't have as much of an issue as Daenerys not seeing the army as most people do.
No,
she's flying. There's clouds. There's mountains. It was a smaller. I went back and watched this scene. At first, I thought it was like the entire fleet, but it's only like 7 ships or something.
Yeah, and I mean,
she was focused on Rhaegal flying.
Yeah, they came out of like an alcove or something like that. So I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried that they killed Rhaegal. It's how they went about doing it and how they have the scorpions everywhere now.
Yeah,
and granted, Cersei's somehow going to be able to, contend now.
Well, yeah, granted, you haven't really seen what's happening at King's Landing. So this whole time that the season's been going on, they've and in between seasons, everything we haven't seen, they've just been preparing. Pretty much ever since Jaime left, they've been preparing. Another thing I have issue with, and they could have messed this up even more, is when they were in the little war room tallying up how many troops they have left. There is no way in hell half the Unsullied survived. I'm sorry, there's no way. They were all out in front of. I thought they were going to say half the Dothraki were still alive. And if they did that, it was like.
But half the Unsullied, I mean, that could. It's probably not half, but let's round up.
I'm starting to actually agree with people and change my mind. I feel like they got these two. I feel like they got the two conflicts mixed up.
What do you mean?
I feel like the Night King fight should have been after the Cersei fight. Like they could have went and fought Cersei, and then immediately, not even doing anything with the throne, gone, cleared the North, and then the last episode could have been like wrap up. Because the Night King was literally there to even the odds.
I think the Night King needed to come first because they head south before, and we find out who's on the Iron Throne at that point. And after that, your forces are going to be, split. You're probably going to have Jon go up north, and Daenerys is going to be able to go with them. They'll probably keep Bran in King's Landing. So I think just for story's sake, they needed to have the Night King go first.
And I get it's a Game of Thrones. It's not a game of zombies.
Yeah.
So I get the political of the throne is, the throne has been the main goal for
Oh
are,
yeah, since
are the two
episode
biggest
one,
characters. Yeah.
you're figuring if since episode one, you're gonna figure you think it to yourself which one of these characters is actually gonna be on the throne at the end of the series.
So I mean, I give this episode like a 5 or a 6. 5 being average, probably a 6. Because again, I liked all the political stuff that they brought back into it. All the scenes with Varys and Tyrion were very good.
I'll probably give it like a 6, but I mean it's by far the weakest of the episodes this season. Now, granted, the episodes this season so far have been above great.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe you see, to me, they've not been as good. Like, this show has different standards, in case people aren't aware of by now. Like a bad episode in this show is like an amazing episode for any other show, which also kind of
an okay episode in the show.
Which also kind of clouds people's judgment because they expect every episode to be insane, which they're not completely wrong. It's the last season. You only have 8 episodes. Oh, you only have 6 episodes.
So you thought this episode was okay. Has there ever been an episode that you thought was just bad?
In Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
I'm sure I could find 1 or 2 that I just didn't like.
I think the lowest, if you're doing a ranking out of 10, the lowest might be a 5, but I mean, I'd give this a 5 or 6, and that's still, it's good. They provide info. They, continue the story. We needed to have this episode because we needed to see how Daenerys would be whenever she got to King's Landing. My biggest thing is, it's just a plot hole. Why didn't Missandei just grab Cersei and jump off the roof?
Okay, let's get to that.
I mean, just
how did they get Missandei when she was on the ship with everyone else? How is she the only person they kidnapped?
A reason to extend the story and to kill her off,
and to make Daenerys Mad Queen.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen glimpses of that the entire time when she actually.
I didn't think they were going to go that route, though.
Probably since she killed her brother, you've seen.
Well, she didn't kill him, but.
Well, yeah, I
she
mean,
stood by and watched, but.
Yeah, I mean, she pretty much gave the order to Drogo.
After he threatened to cut her stomach open, and.
Yeah. You've seen glimpses throughout the entire show that she has something below her, and she's power hungry.
Yeah,
she wants the throne, and she doesn't care who stands in her way. And that was case in point with her and Jon this episode. I mean, she was begging at first, and then she forcefully said, "No, this is what you're gonna do." Yeah,
it's like, we can't be together. I just told you how. Like giving him an ultimatum.
Now, I think if Daenerys is pregnant, I mean, he is going to do whatever it takes to be with her.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be a good thing because he would be able to balance her out. But is she going to be alive at the end?
I don't think so. I'll tell you what happens after, but
I still think there's going to be a time skip in the last episode.
There might be.
I really think there's going to be.
I think there should be.
I think there should be a couple year, maybe at least 5-year time skip in the last episode.
Probably one of the biggest issues I had was with Cersei in this episode. Cersei blew up the Sept of Baelor to kill 40 people. All the Faith Militant. And how many side people did she kill? The Faith Militant, the Tyrells, the High Sparrow, and her uncle Kevin, because he was in cohorts with the Tyrells.
Yeah, so about 40 to 50 people. But how many people actually died? Probably a couple thousand.
So you're telling me that same Cersei has all of her enemies, majority of her enemies in front of her, including her younger brother Tyrion, who she's wanted to kill since pretty much season 1, and she doesn't kill them?
By what, scorpions or?
Yes, I mean it was a small envoy. That was another thing. At first I saw it was like 30 Unsullied there, and I was like, yeah, it was just an envoy thing. But still, it's like old Cersei literally would have hesitated. Unsullied. Yeah, well, yeah. Old Cersei literally would have just killed all of them.
I think I mean, if you think about a character, I'm hoping that she's still reserved and, a little bit in shock with the whole Drogon just chilling in the background.
Even then, though, it's like they just easily killed another dragon. Why couldn't they do it again here when he's sitting on the ground this time?
But she's also out in the open, so all he has to do is breathe fire once and she's dead. She's more worried about herself and the fact that she's out in the... Now, if she wouldn't have been out there,
I still don't
like if her herself wasn't out there, I could see that. But you also got to think, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a TV show.
I know
they're not gonna they're not gonna kill Tyrion.
I know.
I mean, it was building up to Missandei dying,
which,
and I understand why they did it.
Overall, I feel like Missandei's death was good. I feel like it added to the plot. It wasn't just for shock factor, but I still don't understand how they got her when she was on the ships and they didn't get anyone else. Like they just. No. So I don't know, man. So the one scene in this episode that stuck out to me was Bran and Tyrion's scene. So they've had this whole ongoing motive that sometimes the people that want to rule the least make the best rulers. I think Bran will sit on the Iron Throne at the end of the show because he can see the entire history and he can see when he should do things because he can see how every other ruler has ruled. He's probably the most logical. He's the smartest. And after he's king, they'll probably do some kind of democracy where the king is voted in.
I mean, at that point, you're going to, an empire type of thing where he can never die. So, I mean, I don't think he has that much. I don't think he cares. All honestly,
that's the point.
I don't think he. Well, I'm saying I don't think he cares enough about the people around him. Well, he cares about himself, that he's a history of people, but that's it. I mean, he doesn't have really any attachment to anybody else. So if people are going like at their own civil war or something like that, he's not going to care about that as long as he's safe, because there's no Night King walking down the road that's going to try to kill him. So I don't think that's going to happen. If anything, I think he would die before he would end up on the throne.
When would he die though? What opportunity would there be for him to die?
He would end up. I could see it. He would have conversations with Sam and Tyrion, and they'd end up making a collection of books, multiple copies or something like that, and then he would just pass on, ending the cycle of the Three-Eyed Raven and the Night King. Because
I thought you meant die I thought you meant if they do a time jump, die before.
No, he's just going to pass on. No, I mean he's not going to King's Landing.
No,
so who's going to kill him? He's going to be chilling in Winterfell the entire time. There's no point in him going to King's Landing.
I don't know, man. I feel like they're doing the whole Jon Snow's a red herring for the people, and that would be a curveball.
It's the same Harry Potter. I mean, those who don't seek power end up getting it. I mean, it's. I've said that from the beginning. John doesn't want the power, but he just kept getting more and more of it. He kept getting more authority, and he ended up being over the Night's Watch, and he didn't want that.
And you see that more in this episode with especially with Tormund telling him he did all this, and Daenerys is there just I fought on the back of a dragon too, and I did all that. But I think they're just trying to feed into the fact that they're trying to make it seem like people want Jon to sit on the Iron Throne. Which is probably true.
No, it's true. I mean, everybody does want Jon to sit on the throne.
And if people found out who he actually was, then, like Daenerys said, she's not wrong. People would force him into that role.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's half Stark, half Targaryen, so he has the right, but he also has the ability to sit on the throne.
He would also have the support of the North, because he's half Stark.
Yeah, exactly. I think she would still be a good ruler. She's just getting pissed off at this point that, her dragons have died, so her babies have died. And she just wants to kill Cersei, because you also have to think all the good she's done more so than the bad stuff she's done. She's only ever done really bad things when people have stood in her way, and most of the times they've been wrong standing in her way for the wrong. They've stood in her way for the wrong reason.
Yeah, like the slavers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean that's completely great. Everything she did before crossing the sea was great. Now her killing Sam's dad and brother, yeah, she could have taken him hostage or something like that, but
I
she
don't know,
was
man.
also trying to show her dominance and her power at that point, almost maybe to assert this fear over Cersei, so she would give up and she wouldn't have to kill all these other people.
I don't know. I feel like we're gonna get Mad Queen Daenerys next episode, and if they go that route, she either wins and stays Mad Queen Daenerys. Did I say Mad Queen Cersei the first time?
I think so.
Okay, well, I meant Mad Queen Daenerys. Cersei's already a Mad Queen, or at least we thought she was. But either that or like the only person I can picture having to kill Daenerys is Jon. If she goes Mad, I don't know, dude.
Tyrion would do it. Varys would try and then end up talking to Tyrion before Varys dies, and Tyrion would realize that Varys is right and end up killing her.
Now, do you think Daenerys is going to find out that Varys is plotting against her?
Yes, absolutely. Varys is dead next episode.
You think so? You think Daenerys is going to kill him?
Yes, absolutely. I think there's gonna be some word. Tyrion's gonna either tell her or she's gonna hear from, her own people, either an Unsullied or something like that. And yeah, Varys will probably die.
Yeah. So I still think the season is good.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're talking about one okay episode and 3 above average episodes. I mean,
and we're nitpickers, so
yeah, episode 1 was really good. Just puts all the fan service for it. Episode 2 was great, just for more payoffs and everything. Yeah, the whole payoffs of the Brienne storyline and everything like that. Now, in episode 3 was just a good, well shot battle scene.
Episode 3 was so well directed too, like the pace of the episode.
Yes. Well, you have the same director doing
next
week's. Yes, they wanted him to do this past episode 4, but he said no. They wanted him to do 3, 4, and 5, but he said that was too much, so he only did 4 and 5.
I don't like. I really wish this season was 10 episodes.
Oh, I do too, but it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, we are getting the same amount of time. Overall in the season, so I don't really care that it's short some episodes, but
I don't know, man. I hope it just feels like we're not going to get the ending that we felt like we were going to get in terms of quality.
I guarantee you we're not going to understand how Bran's powers work by the end of the series.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the quality of the end will not
the
rest of the it will not match the rest of the show. I guarantee it.
Well, think about it. The first 3 seasons were up here, and then it's just been dropping off. But also, they've been losing source material that they've been going from. So yeah, hasn't been strong. They've been having to
ever since season 6.
They're trying to make up this story as they go along, rather than basing it on something that's already set in stone. So it is going to be more difficult, and there's people are going to, like you and me, are going to be able to pick through plot holes that they don't catch.
And we're not those people where if we find issues with the episode, we're going to say it's terrible.
No, it's still good, and we're still going to enjoy it. Now, if it pulls some Dexter ending or something like that, yeah, it's going to be shit.
Yeah, a lot of people that's what I'm seeing. A lot of people are predicting a Dexter ending.
No, it's not going to be that bad. I mean, like I said, how many bad episodes have there been of this show?
There's been below average ones, but even then,
bad.
Yeah, even then, below average is not bad.
Well, yeah, below average means okay, you're getting back. This is a backstory talking episode.
Yeah.
So my rating is a 3 out of 5 on the pre-warning.
Yeah. I don't know.
Bad language, maybe a slight nudity, and little violence.
Like I said, I'm not gonna think it's. Well, I might not think it's bad by any means, but
I'm not too worried about it. I mean, you're at this point you're probably overthinking it because we waited a day or two later to review it, so you've thought about it more. But I don't. By any means, it wasn't a bad episode. Yeah, it was a mediocre, okay episode. There was a lot of things. Yeah, in terms of Game of Thrones, but I mean, they have probably the 2 biggest episodes of the entire series coming up.
Oh, I mean, 100%.
you got to think about, okay, just in the fact that we're going to get the Clegane Bowl probably next week, and you're going to have hopefully by the end of next week's episode, we'll have who's going to sit on the Iron Throne, or a better idea of who's going to sit on it.
Probably next week we'll have a better idea of who won't be sitting on it.
Yeah, I think that's a better thing, because I mean, you could find out either Jaime is going to side with Cersei, or he's going back to fulfill the Valonqar prophecy where he's going to kill her.
Yeah, I think Jaime and Euron are going to fight.
I think so. Jaime's going to end up killing Euron, and then he's going to walk up to Cersei and end up killing Cersei. That, or capture Cersei, and then Cersei's going to live to give birth, and then Daenerys is going to kill her after that point.
Yeah,
Daenerys, she's going to tell Daenerys that she's pregnant. They're going to have a motherly bond, and she's going to keep her alive and then kill her after the baby's born.
I don't know. We have two weeks left to see how they're going to wrap this all up, because this, despite what we're saying, and we're not necessarily remaining positive, but we understand it's a show. We understand the limitations. But this season,
still positive. It's just we're picking apart things. Well. We're picking. I wouldn't say that.
Have you seen YouTube and Twitter and Reddit?
I've seen the viewership for HBO. It's the highest it's ever been.
Okay, I get that. I'm saying the overall ratings.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Avatar was the highest grossing movie of all time, and people think it's terrible, including you.
I've never seen it, so I can't account to that. No, I'm gonna base it on my own merit, and ultimately what people say. People are holding this season to a higher standard because it's the last season. There's only 6 episodes. It was delayed an extra year to make these episodes, so the hype's just been building. And what happens whenever you hype stuff up too much? You pick it apart, and it's not as good in your mind.
Yeah.
Now, if you were able to say you get somebody that comes in straight off that hasn't seen it and just watches it start to finish, I think they would say that so far this season has been good, minus the little hiccups in this past episode. Episode 1, 2, and 3, I think have been really good. 3, the biggest complaint that people were talking about is the lighting. Like I said, I went back and rewatched it. There was no issue. It was fine.
It was because the HBO servers were overloaded, which we had both said was probably the issue. As soon as the episode was over.
Yeah, it was the render they put out. They could have went and put a new file on their servers whenever they updated throughout the week. And it was most likely due that you didn't have 20 million people probably trying to stream the episode at the same time.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it's not doing well. Yeah, there's going to be people critiquing it because it is the last season and people want it to be great and this and that. But at the end of the day, someone's always going to be upset.
Oh, yeah. People are going to be upset no matter what happens.
But someone's going to be butthurt about something. Oh, this character died. Oh, this character died. Oh, this character didn't get a Valyrian steel sword.
Oh, this character didn't die.
Oh, Ghost's right ear was cut, but his left one wasn't. Yeah. Why that?
Yeah. So I don't know.
I mean, the whole thing with Ghost is that is my biggest disappointment so far in the show. That the fact they didn't have him for over a season, 16 episodes he wasn't in.
Like I said, I think at the end we might get a chance to see him again. I hope so. I think the only reason they brought him back is to give him a farewell. Just to finish that storyline. So we knew Ghost was, we knew Ghost was still alive. So we had to I think we were going to see Nymeria before we see Ghost. Really?
Yeah, because she and her pack saw Arya. And was kind of making an inch toward her, and then she ran off. I would be more upset if they didn't finish that tie than they finished Ghost. I feel like Ghost's story, he's went with Tormund. They went, north of the wall or right south of the wall, and that's where they're gonna settle. I think that is pretty much done.
I don't know. There's the issues in this episode have just been sticking out to me. Like you said, it might be because we waited a day or two later.
We waited a day or two late. I mean, I haven't been thinking about it too much, but it's not by no means a bad episode. It was less than good, but it still wasn't bad.
I feel like the episodes need to be building off of each other, especially because there's so little of them.
I think the biggest thing that they build off on this episode is that Daenerys is pissed. Missandei just died. Rhaegal just died. She's ready to kill Cersei, and I think that's your Steam just popped up on my picture. I think that is the biggest takeaway that we need to take from this. And we don't know what's happened with Jon riding with the rest of the troops, because it was Daenerys and the 20 Unsullied, but those are the only 20 that survived riding on the boats.
That wasn't all of the Unsullied. That was just a little envoy.
Yeah, it was just some on the envoy, because you also have what's Theon's sister,
Yara.
Yara is going to come from the other side to fight Euron.
Yeah.
So when you said Jaime might fight Euron, I think Yara is going to fight Euron, and I think Jaime's going to end up fighting Jon.
Really?
I don't think that. It's hard.
Jon would kick his ass.
Yeah, I think Jaime's going to end up fighting Brienne, and then
Brienne would kick his ass even more, though. Like
Jaime would fight Brienne, but Brienne wouldn't be fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brienne might die by, someone accidentally slashing her, or someone, a Lannister or whoever, a Golden, one of Cersei's people kill her, and then that's when Jaime, the switch flips, and he finally realizes that Cersei's in the wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. It might, but
they still have. The biggest thing is that we're sitting here talking about something that we have honestly no idea how it's going to end.
Yeah. And
I think that is the biggest factor, because if we were sitting here talking about, okay, it's obvious this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and Daenerys is going to end up on the throne, Jon's going to end up in the north. And I mean, if we could tell that from the episodes, that would mean the season's not going well. But the fact is that we don't understand. We didn't know who was going to die on episode 3. I mean, they had a list of 20 people that there's a good chance they'll die. But the fact is they killed off 6 major/minor characters, however you want to place them. And all of them we were like, oh, yeah, I can see that. But also could have saw this person die.
I'm willing to bet a lot of money Daenerys does not sit on the Iron Throne, though.
Oh, I see it. Right now, I think it's a 50-50 shot. I mean, I don't think anyone has a majority chance to sit on the Iron Throne. I mean, you could think Jon does, but that's also just, that he's the good guy. You would like him to sit on the throne because you think he would do the best. That's the only reason I would give him a slight edge. I think Daenerys could sit on either way, and I mean that doesn't mean that she has to die at the same point. I mean, she could not sit on the throne because Jon's on the throne. And she could come to, for all we know, she could come to the realization that he's a much better leader and ruler than I am, and I'm just there to assist him.
Going to be a very interesting 2 weeks and wrap up to probably the biggest show of all time. So, guys, if you're watching, well, arguably the biggest show of all time.
Yeah, definitely one of them.
So, guys, if you enjoyed the episode, go ahead and were you about to say something?
I was saying definitely the in the culture that we're in right now with social media and everything like that, it's definitely up there. I mean, this is the counterpart to the MCU right now as far as TV goes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So if it would have came out 20 years ago, it may not have been as big because people wouldn't have known about it, and there wasn't accessibility with, if you just had to pay for HBO and everything like that. It's definitely part of the era that we're in, that it's such a it's such a big deal. But no, I definitely agree with you. It's probably one of the biggest TV series of all time.
Yeah. So we'll definitely be doing episodes for the last, or we'll be doing podcasts for the last 2 episodes, and then we'll probably do a complete season recap, giving our final thoughts. And
that'll probably be after the last watch episode, which is the episode at the week after the last episode, which is the making of the season 8. And we can do a overall series.
One more thing I forgot, one more negative of the show, or of the episode. When they were at the war meeting, they were talking about Euron's fleet. The next scene Daenerys is in, if you watch the after the episode, the writer David Benioff said, "Oh, well, she just forgot about Euron's fleet." When literally in her last scene, they brought up Euron's fleet. So I get there's a time jump and everything, but
well, yeah, there's jetpacking because that scene you could realistically think that 6 months are in between that and when she actually runs into Euron's fleet, but
it was less than 2 weeks.
But that's also not explained in the show, so we're just going by what we see.
No, it was explained in the
no, I'm saying like the time difference.
No, because they said it would take 2 weeks for Jon and the rest of the army to get down to King's Landing, so it was under 2 weeks. If you watch the post episode thing,
they said 2 weeks from Winterfell to King's Landing.
Yep.
That's not right. That's I'm more upset about that than anything because it took.
These are the people writing the episodes.
I know it took Robert Baratheon and his crew
like half a year.
Half a year to a year.
Granted, they were stopping. They were stopping at other places too, but still,
it doesn't matter. You go from half a year to 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Look it up. Look it up after we're
done.
Oh,
I believe you.
No, I'm saying look it up because I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive I'm right, but I might not be. Anyways, guys, we're segueing off of this. If you guys enjoyed the episode, please be sure to leave a thumbs up, follow whatever platform you're listening to. We do stream these. We've kind of been inconsistent. We're going to try and get back to Monday nights, though, around 8 p.m. Central Time.
Yes.
And we stream them twitch.tv/Brewski. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and
keep gaming.
Keep gaming. We'll see y'all later. Peace.